Everything we learn is given to us through story, whether they are fictitious narratives that appeal to us through entertainment or they are factual reports that stand upon credibility to inform us with news. We learn everything through stories. But what happens when true stories are hidden from us? What happens to truth when those who have the power to control narratives marginalize narratives with malicious intent? Where does truth go? And most importantly, how do we find truth when they are omitted from national archives and American history? John Akata tells us that only in fiction can the hopes and the fears and joys and sorrows of people be adequately recorded. And Akata's Japanese American narrative, No No Boys, is such a fiction that's centered upon true stories that were marginalized, silenced, and hidden. When marginalized narratives become buried, we must look within, around, above, and beyond evidence that has been handed down to us. If we do that, we will find truth within fictional narratives when archival reports silence marginal voices with nationalistic provenance. Akata's fictional narrative centered upon a protagonist who refused to answer yes to questions 27 and 28 found in the loyalty questionnaire. And by answering no to both questions, Ichiro had been imprisoned for his refusal, while his family became segregated in an internment camp. The loyalty questionnaire had been a bureaucratic means to numerically assess the loyalty of Japanese Americans. Its questions were valued according to an Americanness or a Japaneseness, where speaking Japanese would result with negative points, but being Christian would result with having positive points. Okada himself had served in the military, but he wrote about a fictional character who refused to be drafted into the military service and spoke about the horrors that 65,000 Japanese Americans endured when they did not pass this American test. My archival research seeks to unsettle how nationalistic influences communities to omit marginalized narratives such as Akata's. His narrative was kept hidden when the Nisei adopted the guise of quiet Americans, which became the public face codified by the Japanese American Citizen League. The dissenting No-No boys were shunned, and his narrative remained unsold until it was discovered in a used bookstore 20 years later. In my research, I discovered that when one studies with critical imagination, one empowers those who are powerless to keep what was taken away. It listens to the silenced voices who whispered loved ones being punished for listening. It accredits fictional narratives, whether they be poems or novels, to discredit hegemony, leaving the dominant culture powerless to true stories. And I think John Akata, a Nisei from Japanese immigrants, knew that.